In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how I set up my charts for a brand new week each weekend to get myself set up for success for the market open on Monday. I'm going to share with you the indicators that I use. I'm going to share with you how I mark my levels and how I set up to get myself ready for the week. So if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe so that you can be notified when I share more free content for you guys. And if you find it helpful, like the video so I can push it out to more subscribers as I grow my channel. All right, let's dive into the chart. So I start each week with a blank chart, and I do this sometime over the weekend after the market has closed on Friday before it opens up on Sunday night. First thing I'm gonna do is move to the higher time frames, 30-minute, 1 hour, different ranges. I'll share with you kind of my thought process behind that. But I am trying to find areas of support and resistance. I use the visible range volume profile for this. So this is the indicator that I use, VRVP, and my settings on this. I'm gonna let you know what I do. I change everything to gray just to make it a little bit easier on the eye. I think the default is like a bright blue and a bright yellow. Also, I change the settings to be 200 bars instead of 24 bars. It just makes it so it's a little more granular and a little more detailed. But basically what I'm looking for is areas of high volume. So this visible range volume profile, the more price action I put on the screen and zoom in or zoom out, you can see that these volume nodes over here, they change based on how I zoom. So whatever price action is visible on the screen, it's gonna show the high volume areas. What I'm looking for is high volume areas because that's where price typically likes to return to, and it can serve as an area of support or resistance. So that's what I use visible range volume profile for. And I use my little rectangle tool, which you can find, I have it saved on my favorites, but it's the rectangle tool, and you're gonna, what I do is mark off the areas of high volume. So these high nodes, like I said, price is typically going to return to those. So it could potentially come down to this area, break and retest, or break and bounce. If it falls below it, then it could potentially serve as an area of resistance for a short lower. So that's what I'm doing with these areas. And I will look for a couple of high volume support resistance areas below price and a couple above price so that I can kind of see, like, based on local price action, what I'm looking for. The reason I change between, like right now I'm on the 30-minute time frame. I will also change to the 1 hour and the 4 hour because you can see on this time frame right here, there's nothing up above. It doesn't give me any information about where there might be support or resistance above current price action. So I'm gonna move out to the 1 hour, and you still don't get a whole lot other than that small section right there. So I'll go ahead and mark this, but I'm gonna see what the 4 hour looks like as well. Because like I said, these are kind of subjective based on how you zoom, but I'll share with you in a minute how I actually narrow these down and make sure and confirm that I have some good levels that I'm comfortable with, I'm confident with. All right. So now I'm out on the 4 hour. As price action starts to have less information, you can see that it's harder to pull out these high volume areas. So this, the reason I go down to the 30-minute or the 1 hour is because you can see on the 4 hour, it's hard to pinpoint the specific levels. That all just looks like one high volume area. So that wouldn't be good to use the 4 hour for the levels below. But the levels up above, you can see where that is helpful. So there's a small one right there. And then I got this one from the 1 hour. You can see I got that other level right here from the 1 hour. All right, so we have that level. And then I'll mark maybe one more below because I have that one right there. And then I'll mark off maybe this one right there. And then from here, what I'll do is turn off the visible range volume profile, and I'll just confirm these levels just with the naked eye. just by looking left and seeing kind of where the tops and bottoms are with just like support and resistance, just common knowledge. So looking at this level right here, you can see where it was resistance, kind of support. It did bounce and return to that level, so that's a little bit of a support area. Continuing left, it was support there, resistance there. So I'm pretty confident with this level. Again, these are regions. This isn't like an exact price area that's gonna definitely serve as 100% support. Like if it bounces off this line right here, it has to go up or it has to go down. This is just an area of interest for me to pay attention to when price returns to that area. So I feel like that's a pretty good level. This one right here, same thing. I'm gonna look left. I see pretty good resistance in that area. Definitely resistance there, support. It chopped around quite a bit in this area. Resistant or support right here. So I like that one. Also resistance there. So I could maybe widen this level a little bit, but I think that's a pretty good one. Same thing here, looking left. That was resistance, good chop action right there. So a lot of trading happened in that region. This was resistance. So that's definitely what I do with my levels, all right? So that's the first step, using visible range volume profile, zooming out a little bit to get more price action on the screen and mark off those high volume nodes with my rectangle tool. And then from there, I confirm it just with the naked eye to make sure I'm good. That's step one when I'm preparing my charts over the weekend for the upcoming week. The other thing I do is the session volume profile. So I do this every day, not just on the weekends, but I go down to the 1 minute chart and I will mark off yesterday's, the previous day. So in this case, it'll be Friday, the previous session's volume area high. So I have my horizontal ray tool, mark a line at the volume area high. And I have on my templates, I have all my levels that I typically mark saved as a template to make it faster. So I'll mark off VAH, volume area high, grab another horizontal ray tool for the volume area low. And then I mark off another one for the previous session's point of control. Go to my templates there. So I have those levels. Now I will turn that indicator off so I don't have too much noise on the charts. I'm going to turn back off the visible range volume profile. I'm also going to do this same point of control, value area high, value area low for the previous week. So with this one, I actually do this manually. And I do it on the 1 minute chart because it actually calculates differently if you go to the 5 minute or the 30 minute. So it's a little more accurate because there's more data if you do what I'm about to show you on the 1 minute chart. So coming over to your projection tools, go to the fixed range volume profile. And what this does is when you click, you're gonna select the range that you want to have calculate. So I'm going to click on Friday night at market close. That's the first click. And now I'm going to keep dragging all the way left to Sunday night at the open. So that's the whole previous week from Sunday night open to Friday afternoon close. So I click the second time there. And this is basically the same, similar to what the session volume profile is, but it's for the entire previous week. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to mark off the top of this white shaded range is the value area high. I know it's a little bit funky on the 1 minute chart because there's a lot of data, but this is the value area high. So previous week value area high. That's what I have that one saved as. And then another one for the previous week, value area low. And then this white line right here, you can change your settings if you want it to be a little bit more visible, but that's good for me. Mark off the previous week point of control. That's what that middle white line is. And then once I have my lines marked, I will save those for the rest of the week. And then I'm gonna delete that fixed range volume profile just so I don't have too much stuff on the chart. It makes it kind of hard to see. So I have that level now. And then one more thing I'm gonna do, which is also something that I do daily, not just over the weekend to prepare my charts. I am going to do the previous day high and low. So I'm gonna move to the daily chart, zoom in a little bit so I can see it better. And one trick I'll tell you, so it's hard to, like, once you have all these lines and regions and stuff on your chart, sometimes it's hard to see where the wicks are for the previous day high and low. I come over here to this little hide all drawings button, and I turn everything off just temporarily so I can see it better. And I'm gonna take, again, my horizontal ray tool, go up to the top wick of the previous day session, come over to my templates where I have the previous day high PDH saved as a template. And then again, I turn off hide all drawings temporarily, come to my horizontal ray tool and mark off the PDL, previous day low, right there. Cool. So this, I'm going to zoom back to the 5 minute because this is typically where I trade from when I'm looking for setups. But this is what I do each weekend to prepare for the upcoming week. So just to kind of recap, I start off with the visible range volume profile and mark off the higher time frame, high volume areas. So these are these gray shaded areas. And when I zoom out a little bit, you can see these are areas of possible support and resistance where price might return to. So what I would do to actually trade from these levels is watch, like, if price were to go up and hit this area, then I might look for a possible short rejection. Just see how it reacts at that price. Same thing if it starts to drop down. There's a lot of confluence here. There's the previous day low and the previous week's point of control. Also with this high volume area, this could be potentially be a big area for support. So if it returns here and has a great buy up reaction off of it, that could be a good spot for longs. So that's kind of how I'm trading with all of these levels. And then that's how I start off my week. So kind of to go back to my recap that I was doing, the visible range volume profile for the higher time frame support and resistance areas, marking off with the fixed range volume profile tool that's built into TradingView, mark off the entire previous week, value area high, point of control, and value area low, and then the previous session, value area low, point of control, value area high, and then the previous day high and previous day low. So that is how I set up my charts each weekend so that I'm ready for the upcoming week and can use these as levels to trade off of. All right, hope you guys found that helpful. If you did, again, like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or anything you want me to clarify or dive into a little bit deeper, post it in the comments and I will get back to you. I answer every single comment and every single question. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good one.